Picture this. You just had a crazy, action-packed weekend. You picked up the tab for your crew at dinner, snagged those concert tickets you've been hyping up for months, and maybe dropped some cash on a fresh fit. You're feeling like a boss, untouchable. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and your phone buzzes. It's your credit card statement. You open the app, hold your breath, and boom, there it is. You're $3,000 in the hole. For a split second, you low-key panic. Your stomach drops. $3,000 is a lot of dough, and you definitely don't have that kind of cash just sitting in your checking account right now. But then, you scroll down and see something that feels like a total lifesaver. Minimum payment due, $35. Suddenly, you're chillin'. $35? That's literally just a couple of lattes and an Uber ride. You smash that pay minimum button, get that satisfying green check mark, and go about your day feeling like you just outsmarted the bank.
Spoiler alert, you didn't win. You just walked straight into one of the most brilliantly disguised psychological traps in the modern American financial system. Today, we're going to break down why that minimum payment feature on your card isn't a convenience. It's not your bank doing you a solid. It's a carefully engineered mathematical trap designed to keep you broke, keep you stressed, and funnel your hard-earned cash straight to Wall Street. We're going to look at the hidden psychology behind this trick, why our brains are literally hardwired to fall for it, and the exact mindset shift you need to make to ghost this debt cycle forever. Let's start with how our brains actually process money. As humans, we kind of suck at wrapping our heads around big numbers and future consequences. Psychologists call this present bias. Basically, we want the shiny new thing right now. We want the new TV today, we want the Miami trip this weekend, and we'd rather push the pain of actually paying for it as far down the road as possible. Banks know this. The entire credit card industry is banking on this exact mental glitch. When you see a $1,000 price tag on a TV, your brain registers the sting of losing $1,000. It hurts. But when the credit card company slides in and says, "Yo, don't sweat the $1,000, just toss us $25 a month," your brain instantly chills out. They completely shift your focus away from the massive total cost and trick you into only looking at the monthly cash flow. This is layer one of the trap, the illusion of affordability. Once you start justifying purchases by asking, "Can I afford the monthly payment?" instead of, "Can I afford the total price?" you're playing yourself. You're not buying a TV anymore. You're buying a $25 a month financial hangover that's going to stick with you for years. But it gets deeper. Why do even smart, financially savvy people sometimes just pay the minimum? It boils down to a psychological hack called the anchoring effect. Anchoring is a cognitive bias where we rely way too heavily on the first piece of information we're handed. When you open your statement, the bank puts that minimum payment right in your face. It's bolded. It's the default option on the app. By flashing that $35 number, the bank drops an anchor in your subconscious. Even if you've got $500 sitting in your account and could easily knock out a huge chunk of your debt, your brain sees the $35 and goes, "Oh, bet, that's the suggested amount. That's all I gotta do to stay out of trouble." You end up paying exactly what the bank wants you to pay, thinking you made a smart move. But the bank didn't pick that number to help you out. They calculated the exact mathematical sweet spot to milk you for interest for as long as humanly possible without making you go bankrupt. Let's break down the math with a super simple example. Imagine you're at a bar. You order a drink, and the bartender says, "Don't sweat it tonight, man. Just start a tab." You have an epic night, buy a round for your friends, and at the end of the night, your tab is $500. You go to pay, and the bartender smirks and says, "Tell you what, you don't have to pay me the $500 today. Just slide me $15. But for every day you don't pay me the full amount, I'm gonna tack on a little extra fee to your tab." You hand him a $20, tell him to keep the change, and leave thinking you got a steal. Next month, you come back to pay more, but you realize something crazy. Even though you paid $15, your tab isn't $485. It's actually $495. Why? because 10 of those $15 you paid didn't even touch the drinks you bought. It went straight to the extra fee for delaying the payment, the interest. That is exactly how credit card minimum payments work. When you pay the minimum, the bulk of that cash isn't paying off your actual debt. It's just paying the interest for that month. You're basically paying the bank a rental fee just for the privilege of owing them money. Let's look at the real numbers. The average American is carrying around $6,000 in credit card debt. Let's say your APR is 24%, which is super common right now. If your minimum payment is around 2% of your balance, you're paying about $120 a month. If you cut up the card today, meaning you don't swipe it for a single coffee, gas, or late-night DoorDash ever again, and you just pay that $120 minimum every single month, how long do you think it will take to pay off that $6,000? 5 years? 10 years? Try almost 30 years. 3 decades, bro. And here's the most insane part. By the time you finally wipe out that original $6,000 balance, you will have handed the bank over $15,000 just in interest. Let that sink in. You bought $6,000 worth of stuff, but you paid $21,000 total. You flexed a $6,000 lifestyle, and you literally bought a banking exec a Rolex with the interest. This is the hidden cost of the minimum payment. It's a wealth-destroying machine. You're running on a treadmill that keeps speeding up, and the minimum payment is just the energy you spend to keep from flying off the back. You're never actually moving forward. So why doesn't anyone talk about this? Why didn't they teach us this in high school? Because the system cashes in on your ignorance. The entire American consumer economy runs on debt. If everyone woke up tomorrow and paid off their cards in full, the banking industry would lose billions overnight. They want you to feel comfortable with debt. They gamify the whole thing with credit scores, making you feel like you're crushing it as long as you make those minimum payments on time. Yo, my credit score went up 5 points. I'm a financial genius. Newsflash, a high credit score doesn't mean you're wealthy. It just means you're highly profitable to banks. It means you're a VIP customer for their debt products. This brings us to the ultimate truth about building wealth. Wealth isn't about how big your paycheck is. There are people pulling in $200K a year who are dead broke because their entire lifestyle is financed by minimum payments on Teslas, massive mortgages, and premium rewards cards. Wealth is about how much of your money you actually get to keep. Every time you carry a balance and pay interest, you are robbing your future self. You're taking cash that could have been thrown into an S&P 500 index fund, compounding and making you money while you sleep, and handing it over to a bank. So how do we hack the system and break free? How do we rewire our brains to dodge the minimum payment trap? Step 1, destroy the anchor. Whenever you look at your credit card app, literally blind yourself to the minimum payment box. The only number that matters is the statement balance. That's the reality check. Step 2, stop treating your credit card like a loan or free money. It's just a middleman between your checking account and the store. If you don't have the cash in your bank account today to cover the purchase, you can't afford it, period. Step 3, if you're already stuck in the cycle, you gotta attack it. You can't just lightly jog off the debt treadmill, you gotta jump off. Cut the unnecessary spending, start a side hustle, do whatever it takes. If the minimum is $35, pay $100. Every extra dollar you throw at the principal is a dollar the bank can never charge you interest on again. That's a guaranteed return on your money. The banking system drops billions of dollars hiring the smartest psychologists to design a system that keeps you comfortably broke. They made the minimum payment look like a life raft when really it's a slow leak in your boat. But now you see the trap, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Next time your phone buzzes with that tiny, innocent-looking minimum payment, remember what it really is, a tax on your future. Stop playing their game. Pay the balance in full, keep your cash, and start making your money work for you.